And as soon as we were able to establish command, we set up an EMS command. We were able to very quickly triage many critically ill patients, some with less acuity, and we're very thankful we're actually able to leverage a neighboring restaurant to help with the triage and get people out of the elements. It's rather cold out.
The range of injuries, what would an example of the most serious to the least serious be? What you're looking at?
So the injuries were somewhat diverse, ranging from some pretty serious head trauma to perhaps some pretty decent lower extremity trauma, mangled limbs. But it was pretty much the gambit. We had patients with confounding factors, chronic medical illnesses as well, that made things a little bit more difficult than just a standard trauma patient with other medical things going on as well.
So what did you have to communicate back here? What did you have to tell the people at South Shore Hospital so that they'd be prepared?
So in direct communication with Dr. Tracy, as well as using the South Shore Hospital Communications Center, we're tied very closely together with the South Shore Regional Communications Center. We're able to relay back the state of the scene, numbers of patients, and be able to determine what is the capability, how many more critical patients can I send, do I have to then triage to other hospitals, what's the capacity. Like Dr. Tracy said, we had increased operative capacity at the time, increasing staff, and the department on a Monday afternoon was actually in pretty good shape, so we were able to absorb most of these cases without significant issues.
Could you give us an idea of how many patients here are facing life-threatening injuries right now?
We'll defer to Dr. Burns on that.
So I don't have an exact number, but we have multiple patients with life-threatening and limb-threatening injuries, some of which have gone to the operating room, some of which in coordination with our partners in town have accepted some of those patients, and some patients are awaiting surgery in the next few hours or even sooner.
Do you anticipate, unfortunately, any amputations here?
I can't comment on that right now.
At one point today, we heard that med flight was called and then that flight was canceled. Can you explain what the thinking was behind the call and then the cancellation?
Yeah, so immediately on arrival on scene, we assessed the number of patients and the diverse critical illness that we were accompanying. And the decision was to activate MedFlight, again, one of our partners, to stage. They arrived very quickly on the scene, and they were able to stage in the air. Ultimately, they didn't land. Again, part of our communications back and forth about capacity and able to manage these cases. We ultimately did not require the resources of an aircraft.
Yeah, so there's just a discrepancy in what we heard at the news conference over in Hingham. So they said there were 16 patients brought here. You guys are saying 17. Any idea why that discrepancy is?
I believe we had a patient who walked in.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. And just one more question, I believe it'd probably be for you, sir. Just can you speak to how you guys manage, family members coming here, wondering where their loved ones are, they haven't heard from them, and how you manage kind of that aspect of things?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, this is a scenario that we drill with frequency. And so part of that drill process is a family reunification process. And we mobilize the resources that we would do. That includes a liaison and resources available to answer any questions. We did have multiple family members arrive here, and we worked with them to connect with their loved ones.
Are you satisfied with how it went today?
Incredibly satisfied. I'm beyond proud of our team here, and I'm just in awe with how the response occurred across our region. Again, this is something that we never want to happen in our area, but to see the response that occurred and how well it was done and how well coordinated, we all should be proud.
Are you doing this in the midst of having an overflowing emergency room like many other hospitals, given RSV, et cetera?
Yeah, we're busy, but I will say our capacity today, we got a little lucky that we had available capacity, that we were able to manage the patients very quickly. Fortunately, we had the whole hospital here to help, and so we were able to empty out our emergency department in about 5 minutes with patients who went upstairs to beds and additional team members across the whole organization that took patients to their destination so that we could manage newly arriving patients.
Have you had anyone be released at this point, maybe with some more minor injuries?
I can't say at this point.
Anything you guys guys want to add that we didn't touch on?
Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.